everyone, welcome back to Learner's World. Today's video is going to be over autism spectrum disorder. Just some information to help get a little bit of a better understanding of what it is. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with what is autism. It influences how people experience and interact with the world. For a diagnosis, they must share differences in how they communicate, think, and feel from non-autistic people. For example, they may find socializing tiring or confusing and become overwhelmed with busy or loud places. Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges in social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. It is estimated to affect 1 in 31 children and 1 in 45 adults in the United States. An autism spectrum disorder diagnosis is broken into 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3, depending on how much support a person might need. ASD incorporates 4 disorders from the DSM-4: autistic disorder, Asperger's disorder, childhood disintegrative disorder, and the catch-all diagnosis of pervasive developmental disorder. Researchers found that those diagnoses were being inconsistently applied across clinics and treatment centers, and rather than being distinct disorders, actually represented behaviors and symptoms along a severity continuum. ASD reflects this continuum and is a more accurate medical scientific approach. Next, when is it usually diagnosed? In the U.S., autism is diagnosed usually by the age of 5, with some symptoms appearing as early as ages 2 or 3. Co-occurring conditions. People with autism may experience other behavioral, mental health, or medical-related conditions along with autism. Some of these co-occurring conditions may include ADHD, anxiety, depression, gastrointestinal or GI disorders, seizures, or sleep disorders. They may also deal with things like allergies, sensory integration dysfunction, or cognitive impairments. Symptoms include trouble adapting to social situations, repetitive behavior, otherwise known as stimming, irritation and slight changes in schedule, ignore verbal communication, and showing different responses to sensory stimuli. Level 1 autism spectrum disorder. It used to be called Asperger's syndrome. While the term Asperger's syndrome is still in use, anyone who has received the diagnosis for Asperger's syndrome would be considered to have level 1 ASD. Without the right amount of support, there are deficits in social communication, and there is going to be causing noticeable impairments. There may be difficulty initiating social interactions and possibly atypical or unsuccessful response to social overtures of others. People with level 1 ASD often show inflexibility of behavior, causing significant interference with functioning in one or more contexts. They may have difficulty switching between activities and may have problems organizing and planning that hamper independence. People who are said to have high-functioning autism would also fall under the level 1 ASD diagnosis. Level 2 ASD. There are deficits in verbal and nonverbal communication skills. Social impairments are apparent even with supports in place. People with level 2 ASD usually show limited initiation of social interactions and reduced or abnormal responses to social overtures of others. Typical behaviors include inflexibility of behavior, difficulty coping with change, and often show distress or difficulty changing focus or action. People with level 2 ASD may have trouble with eye contact, may walk away during a conversation, or have abnormal responses to social cues. Avoidance of eye contact can start as early as 3 to 6 months. Kids with level 2 ASD display visible distress when there is a change in routine. Level 3 ASD. People with level 3 ASD require substantial support. There are severe deficits in verbal and nonverbal social communication skills. They are very limited with initiating social interactions and express minimal response to social overture from others. They display an inflexibility of behavior and extreme difficulty coping with change and great distress or difficulty changing focus or action. Children with level 3 ASD may engage in repetitive behaviors such as hand flapping or spinning. What many people don't know about ASD. So ASD affects 1 in 36 children. Boys are nearly 5 times more likely to be diagnosed with ASD, while girls are either undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. It is one of the fastest growing developmental disorders in the United States. ASD is a developmental disorder often presenting challenges before the age of 3. Early behavior-based interventions have positive effects on some children with ASD. Many with ASD have communication difficulty. It is not a disorder that gets worse with age, but individuals with ASD learn and build new skills with the right support. Those with ASD who may be nonverbal at age 4 may learn to speak fluently. Children and adults with ASD often care deeply but struggle to spontaneously develop empathic and socially connected typical behavior. Children and teens with ASD often have a lower bone density than their peers. Up to 1/3 of people with ASD develop seizure disorders. Hyperlexia, which is the ability to read above one's age or grade level, often accompanies ASD. Also, individuals with ASD may be very creative and find passion and talent in things like music and theater. Children with ASD are 168 times more likely to drown than typical children, which is why it's important to teach them how to swim and keep an eye on children around water. ASD begins before age 3, typically lasting through a person's life, with symptoms sometimes changing over time. Symptoms appear between 12 to 24 months of age. Some children with ASD develop new skills and meet developmental milestones until about 18 to 24 months. Stimming with ASD. People with autism stim to channel and manage excess energy and to self-soothe. Often stimming behaviors are repetitive. These behaviors include arm or hand flapping, repetitive finger movement, repetitive facial movements, rocking, finger tapping, and so on. People with autism stim due to an excess amount of energy due to reasons including social overload, sensory overload, information overload, emotional overload, or something as simple as boredom. So some terms associated with ASD. So shutdown is going to be characterized by withdrawal, silence, and difficulty processing information. A meltdown is kind of a more external show of a shutdown. It involves emotional outbursts such as crying, physical agitation, or yelling. Autistic inertia refers to the difficulty an autistic individual may experience in initiating, changing, or stopping an activity. Echolalia is the repetition of sounds, words, or phrases, a common communication trait in people with, which is a common communication trait in people with autism, usually occurs immediately after hearing them. An individualized education plan, or IEP, is a legally binding document that outlines a tailored education plan for students with disabilities in public school. And we have perseveration, which is similar to echolalia. There is a slight difference though. So perseveration is the tendency to persistently repeat actions, thoughts, or speech, even when they are no longer relevant. Usually this goes on beyond the initial trigger, though, which is where the difference is between perseveration and echolalia. That's all I have for today. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button below. And if there's a topic you'd like to learn more about in a future video, please leave it in the comment section below. I hope you'll have a great day.